Hi, Rex Walter back in the Rex Report studio. You've seen me here a couple of times, once to pay tribute to Ginger Baker, another time to pay tribute to Charlie Daniels. Today, this is probably the last musical edition of Tim and Hetty's World until we sort of sign off. But this one is to salute someone who died actually a number of years ago in 2005, but he just came back into my consciousness recently. This is to pay tribute to Long John Baldry. Okay, so the way this came about, you may have read about it. If you've read the verbiage above this link to this report, it was the death of G. Gordon Liddy prompted me to track down Super Joe Gallivan, who then, when we were texting back and forth, he sent me a link to Don't Try to Lay No Boogie Woogie on the King of Rock and Roll. And so I thought, yes, I should do a Long John Baldry tribute. So here we go. I don't know if you can hear some music. I've got it playing pretty faintly, but what you're listening to now is the LP Welcome to Club Casablanca. This is the cover. And this is an incredibly rare. This is an incredibly rare album. You are probably not going to see many places. It's not on CD. I know CDs are passé for many people, but it's incredibly hard to find. So that's what you're listening to. It's an absolutely fabulous album, but very, very difficult to find. Anyways, in my collection of vinyl, I've got these three albums. I would probably say sort of epitomize the height of Baldry's career with outside of Britain and in North America. It Ain't Easy. Many of you have probably familiar with that album. This has Don't Try to Lay No Boogie Woogie on the King of Rock and Roll. This album, and along with Everything Stops for Tea and Good to Be Alive, another very, very rare album you're not going to see. But these three were sort of co-produced by Elton John and Rod Stewart. Elton John, as you may well know, was originally he was born Reg Dwight, and then when he started playing music and met Elton Dean and Long John Baldry, he changed his name to Elton John, taking Elton from Elton Dean and John from Long John Baldry. And of course, it's well documented that Baldry discovered Rod Stewart playing a harmonica out, after a gig at Eel Pie Island in London in 1964. Anyways, these albums are amazing. Nothing finer can be found. And actually, the interesting thing is that I actually have those three albums on CD as well. It Ain't Easy, Everything Stops for Tea, and Good to Be Alive. This is the only CD version of this. I think this Super Joe Gallivan made this for me, in thanking me for introducing him to Long John. Now, Baldry, so he had this career started in England. He actually became a crooner at one point, and produced this album called Heartaches, which capitalized on his popularity in the late '60s. But then he went back to his roots, and so he did Heartaches after having been in the Hoochie Coochie Men, Cyril Davies All Stars, things like that. Then he went, after Heartaches and after that crooning interlude, he went back to his roots, his blues rock roots, and he produced those three albums that I showed you earlier. Then he did Welcome to Club Casablanca, the album that's playing now, which you can probably not hear very well because I've got it turned down. I'll turn it up in a bit. And then he came to Canada, and in 1978, that was the first time I actually saw him live. I already knew about him. My brother had introduced me to him. But he came to Queen's University, and he played at Alfie's Pub in 1978 in first year. And it was there that I got his autograph. Yeah, so that was a highlight for me. And then he came out with this album, Baldry's Out. which was sort of the reintroduction, a rejuvenation of his career, and certainly the start of his career in Canada. And then he followed that up with another album called Long John Baldry. He's wearing that fedora, and that's why I've got this fedora on, and just in honor of him. And then one day I was reading I've always been sort of known to read the death notices, and there was an in memoriam, Long John Baldry, January 12th, 1941 to July 21st, 2005. Time passes, but your memories grow stronger each day. Your voice is still strong as your music is played every day. You are missed and will forever be missed. The book and the documentary are done. Love, Jeff Edmonds and Evelyn Muncaster. Now, Jeff Edmonds is a guy I then met, and he knew a heck of a lot about Long John Baldry. He actually should have written this book. It was written by Paul Myers, brother of Mike Myers. I think maybe the only reason that Paul Myers got to write the book was because of his relation to Mike Myers. But clearly, I'd say Myers didn't even know about Baldry before he wrote the book. But Jeff Edmonds should have written the book. Jeff Edmonds provided a lot of information in this book, and certainly is a Long John Baldry aficionado. And finally, just before I tune off, and I'm going to turn this up a bit so you can hear. Here we go. A couple of other CDs I have. Long John Baldry, Remembering Leadbelly, fantastic CD, and the Long John Baldry Trio live. So, there you have. I guess I'm sort of doing this for Super Joe Gallivan, who, believe it or not, has not been following Tim and Hetty's World because I had lost contact with him. But when G. Gordon Liddy died, it got me back in touch with Joe, and I thank him for that. So I hope you've been able to hang in for this lengthy monologue, diatribe, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, Rex Walter for the Rex Reports. Over and out for now. Pick up a Long John Baldry CD or get a tune from iTunes or something. I haven't quite made it to the 21st century yet. Over and out.